Welcome to my channel, The Art and Light of Color. My name is Leslie, and today we're going to do part 2 of introduction of the Vivid PolyPour Primary Elements Starter Set. It is an 8-ounce bottle of our acrylic polymer polypour that has been mixed to the perfect consistency to mix with our dry coloring system called Primary Elements. And we're going to be doing 7 colors to preview those on camera. We'll be mixing them with the 5 interferences and some of the other colors combined to create some unique combinations for you. Now, those of you that logged in because you just want to see the 30 color swipe, which I ended up making 30 colors out of the 7 in this video, you will find that at timecode 42.56. You're also going to find that information in the description, and all the recipes used both in part 1 and part 2 are in the description of this video, along with the links where you can buy all the products. I hope you enjoy. One more thing, we're working with Primary Elements. If you've never used it, it is a ground color milled with those 5 interferences to make the entire 200 colors we carry in our line. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you. This first color we're working with is Snapdragon. It's a rich purple in a violet pearl. And I'm going to put in approximately half a scoop. And the rest of these colors I'm going to put in what I'm calling a pinch. Now, some colors that are really oversaturated, I'm putting in that much. Others that are more medium saturation, like the Snapdragon, this is what I'm calling a pinch. Incidentally, in the starter sets, I am creating a insert that will have the recipes that I've shared on this video written down for you so you can save them for the future. I thought that might come in handy for you guys. This is the straight Snapdragon. Mixed in with the polypour. The only time you have to really spend on mixing is just to make sure that the little color particulates in here actually dissolve. In these next 4 colors, I'm going to put a pinch of our Majestic blue in one. It's a medium blue. Sorry, I'm using my big container here, so I'm going to put the Majestic blue in this one. And I'm also going to use the Jasmine, which I showed in part 1, so I can make a red violet. A violet that has a red undertone. The 2 interferences that I am going to use are Interference Violet. It's a half scoop of the Interference Violet so we can get a nice pastel. And then I'm going to put Interference Blue in this next one, so we get something along the line of a periwinkle, close to a periwinkle. It needs a little bit more blue in it, but the Interference Blue will surprise you what happens when it's mixed. This first one is the Snapdragon mixed with the Majestic blue. Now they're both a pinch, but hopefully my 2 pinches gives us enough color saturation. Boy, that blue really dominated. That's crazy. I just put a pinch of the blue in, and it really dominated. Big difference between these 2. I know the camera's having trouble picking up this purple. This one is the Jasmine and the Snapdragon. Oh no, this is beautiful. We're getting a warm violet, a warm purple. See how that warms that up? Very different from the original one. Here's our pastel that we're going to make out of the Interference Violet and just a pinch of the Snapdragon.
This one is the Interference Blue mixed with the Snapdragon, which should give us more of a pastel blue violet, which it did. So here's the comparison of the two. You can see the Interference Blues really turn this, and where this one has the Interference Violet in it. So this is the straight Snapdragon. It's a pure violet and a violet pearl. Good clean color. So this is your pastel made with one of the interferences. We're going to find out here soon. I think this is the one with the Interference Violet. And actually I could have gotten away with less color in it. I mean that. And I think I just told you wrong. I think these were the colors I mixed with other colors. That's why this is so dark. And these are the pastels. Oops. Well, it's hard to tell when they're mixed in the cup, but you're definitely going to see when it's dry. So this is the Jasmine and the Snapdragon. This is the Majestic Blue and the Snapdragon, but it really will give me a blue violet. This is the straight Snapdragon. Based on how blue this is looking, again, the mica could fool me. This looks like the Snapdragon mixed with the Interference Blue. And this last one is with the Interference Violet. Boy, that's still really saturated. And this time we're going to use a wee pinch, what we were using in the Spiced Pumpkin. I'm even going to start with less than that. That's it. Put my little squirt of the PolyPour in there. So this is just with the tiniest bit of color in that interference. See, you can still see the colors breaking down. See that little swirl in there? There we go. It's starting to get smooth now. Because of the interference, it's way more concentrated in the cup. It's what's kind of deceiving than it is on the paper. And when it dries, you'll see the violet. You can see the violet now even with a wet. See that violet? And here's our piece dry. I can get a good angle in this for you guys. This next color is Olivine. Now it is a very deep olive green. But between this and our Kelly Green Irish Mist and the work of mixing with some of the other colors in the collection, we should get a nice variety of greens. Now, this is pretty concentrated. I'm still going to use my half scoop in here for the regular color. But because it is so strong, we don't want to make the same mistake we made with the Snapdragon. There's your bit of Olivine in that one, and Olivine in the other cup. Then what we're going to do is put a little bit of Interference Gold. And actually I'm going to use the full half scoop. I'm learning my lesson to keep up with that. Regular half scoop is for the mica and just a pinch of color. And this other one I will use green, which would be the obvious color to choose for a green, for an interference. Here's the straight Olivine being mixed. There's your olive, okay? Now, we're gonna make a moss kind of green and a peridot green. Gold and lighten it up. I should get the color of a peridot, which is a natural, it's a precious stone. And a lighter value of this olive. Wow, that camera's making it almost look key lime, and it's not. This is very much a peridot green. It's a little bit more olive than a traditional key lime. Wow, that gold is really grabbing the light. Okay, and now I'm going to mix it with the interference green. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm getting a really pretty moss look. Those are gorgeous as far as combinations. Now, because green is kind of an important color, especially if you're going to be brush painting and you're doing any kind of floral work, we're going to do some bonuses here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with all these little bits and drabs and pastes when we're done. May have too much for a swipe. But let's see what happens when I take my Olivine and I mix it with a little bit of Majestic blue. Same color that I put in my Snapdragon, but I know that it's really strong, so I can't use much. I want this to be more olive than blue, so I'm going to put a decent scoop of the Olivine in, but just the teeniest pinch. Remember, I can always add more, but I can't take it away. Just the teeniest pinch of that blue. I want to see if I can get more of a forest green or an everglade green. Because boy, when you're painting, you know you need a lot more greens than just an olive and an Irish color. And if this is not deep enough, I can always add more, right? Still still very olive. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to add a little tiny more. It is darker though than the other olive. But now that I know what that color looks like, I'm going to add a tiny bit more of that blue. Even if it just takes down one shade to kind of give me a clean everglade green. I got some of the grains on that spoon, so I'm kind of brush it off with this brush so it fully gets mixed in there. Okay, so let's see what it tastes like, because it looks very similar in the cup. I still might not have used enough, but I'd rather weigh on the side of caution. Let's start with what should be, we hope it still is, the straight Olivine. Again, it's really, really saturated. Wow, you can't even hardly tell that that's the one. I think this is the one with the interference green. Wow, that could have gone way shades lighter. We know the one with the gold is. It's very obvious. I'm not sure. Did I? I hope I did put interference green in this cup. Oops. I have to go back when I go back and watch the video. Maybe I didn't. This is the one with the interference gold. And look how much lighter it is. That's why I'm starting to believe that maybe I forgot the green in that other one. Gives you that pretty peridot green. And this, I believe, is my custom mix with some of the blue in it. It is a couple shades darker. It's still olive, but I'm getting a deeper value of olive. The camera's not showing the olive as much as it is. This is still very olive, even though that camera is making it look a little bit more forest green. But those little pinches of the Majestic blue, wow. So Mystic Blue is a teal in the blue family. As you see it hit, you're going to see bits of turquoise here in the corner. You can tell it is a teal, but it is a deeper teal. And we're going to actually do one where it's trying to make it a little bit more blue. So we're going to do, and remember how strong the Majestic was. So we're going to do another one that is Mystic and a pinch of my Majestic. I'll put 2 pinches in since the Olivine was so happy with that. And then in these other 2, we'll use the obvious color. Turquoise either lends itself to blue or green, so this is going to be interference green. And I'm going to do interference violet for the fun of it. I could have done it with blue, but violet will make it interesting. Here's some interference violet. We need just a pinch. But I hope I didn't put that in there already. So this is the straight Mystic Blue. This is the Mystic Blue with a little bit of Majestic in it, just to make it a little bit more blue turquoise. Still deep, still a deep teal, but see how it's turning more of a blue teal? That's a really pretty color, actually. Those are gorgeous together. Okay, then this is the one with the interference green. Give us almost an African sky aqua. Yeah, I absolutely love Mystic Blue. What can I say? I love this color. Very versatile, makes lots of colors. And this is the one with the violet. This should give us some shifting. We'll see. Probably more when we paint it down. But it did change how this looks. Okay, we got to get these grains to dissolve here. And here they are side by side. I can see some grains still breaking down in the one with the blue. This is the color with the interference green. This is the Mystic Blue with the interference violet. Okay, so this is the straight Mystic Blue as it is, straight out of the jar, mixed straight with a polypour. Boy, I wish that camera would pick that up better. This turquoises are so hard on film, and yet it is the prettiest colors out there. I think for the sake of breaking it up, I'm actually going to put the pastels on each side because maybe it'll fool the camera into thinking it's turquoise. This is the interference violet. This is the one with the interference green. It's funny, they're the same value even though this is starting to look a little bit darker because the violet is changing how the light is playing with this. And then I'm going to put the one mixed with the Majestic Blue on this end. Okay, so this is Mediterranean blue. It may look a little bit darker in the container, but it's a nice aqua. And we're gonna add a pinch while we're thinking it to each one. Because it's a lighter value, I can do a larger pinch to these with the interferences. I already know the Mediterranean blue is a slightly lighter color, okay? Now in my, what I'm gonna mix, we're gonna add a tiny, tiny pinch of the Snapdragon. Just a pinch. That's it. But I am going to add more than that on the Mediterranean blue. Again, because it's a medium to light value color, I'm probably what might translate to 3 pinches of the Mediterranean blue. So this is the straight Mediterranean blue. Man, that looks like a powder blue in the camera, and it's actually an aqua. And then this next one here, we're going to try it with that pinch of Snapdragon in it and see what happens. Curious if I get a tanzanite color. Ooh, it is a little bit different. I don't know if the Snapdragon is enough to make it turn to tanzanite. I might have to add a little bit of interference violet if I want it. Hard to tell, but this is a little bit more tanzanite-y, and this is more aqua. This is with interference green, but it's crazy. It's not, it's looking like I made it with blue, but I'm sure I made this with green. Last but not least, I think this is the one made with the violet. Well, we shall see when we paint these out because of the same color saturation. I'm not getting much difference on the spoons. This one, it looks like the regular Mediterranean blue. So then next to these two on either side, now you can see this looks a little bit more violet, this looks a little bit more blue, and you can tell the difference when they're a little bit further out. So this is the straight Mediterranean blue. See, now painted out, I can see the aqua. Beautiful turquoise. That's a pastel with one of the interferences. I'm hoping it's violet like my eye thought it was. Here's the other pastel, because one of these is made with green and one of these is made with violet. Yeah, I'm already seeing the green pop in here. The violet's going to be more subtle, but it is going to change it. And then here's the one with the Snapdragon in it. Again, it's going to be very, very subtle. You'll get kind of a tanzanite turquoise blue. Look what happened, that little bit of Snapdragon in there and how it changed that Mediterranean blue. Okay, so let's have some fun with that Kelly Green Irish Mist. I've got a nice generous scoop to go in its first cup. And then we're going to mix the Irish Mist with a little Majestic, again to get it more foresty green. Majestic strong, right? So I'm going to put the same amount of green, the Irish green I did in here, and just enough to call it 2 pinches of the Majestic blue. And then we're going to do just the pinches of the Irish green. call it Irish Mist. And another little Irish Mist there. And we want to do them, and I'm going to make sure I do these first two. This one has gold in it, which should give us almost a key lime. And this one has green in it, which should give us almost a pastel kiwi color. Yeah, there's that green. This is in your face Kelly green. I mean, it is a Kelly green. Which is a handy color to paint with, but you want to be able to blend other blues and things in it so you can get more foresty colors. This is the one with the Majestic blue in it. Not sure how much the camera's going to pick this up. But that took that to a darker tone. But maybe not as much for the camera as we like. Let's see them side by side. This would make a very subtle green without it having to go like a dark bluey, foresty green. And this is that Irish green next to it. So they are different. This is a little bit darker, okay? But what if I wanted to make it just one more shade darker? I'm adding just one more pinch, not the double pinch. I'm scraping off with one spoon with another spoon to get all those grains because they dropped on my spoon and there's very little color. So we're starting to get more and more towards an emerald and an Irish. And I'm going to take one more chance and put another pinch in so I can really get that emerald green that I'm looking for. But I couldn't take a chance and put too much in. I'd rather show you guys, a slightly darker, then another slightly darker, and then this is a full-blown like Kelly. This is like a Kelly green. This is more of an emerald green. Okay, you'll see it on the paper. This is mixed with the gold. Wow. It really is a pastel key lime. If I didn't think that was key lime enough, because that's really, really light, I could add a tiny bit. I probably would for my piece of the Irish Mist, but I want you to see the differences in these. Okay, and this one's actually done with green. Boy, you get this pale celadon or a pale kiwi. So hopefully on paper this is going to look more Kelly. And this is going to look more of the Irish. No, I'm sorry. This looks more emerald. And this looks more Kelly. Hope your eyes are prepared for this one. You got some greens here, kiddos. Okay, so this is the straight Irish Mist. Lovely Kelly green. You can add a little yellow to dirty it up, or actually make it brighter, a little bit of yellow and red to dirty it up if you want to make more olive. Of course, we have an olive in this set. I mean, look. It is in your face green. It's neon on steroids. Okay, and here is the one with the gold. Our pastel with just a pinch of the Irish Mist in the gold. Now granted, you can add a little bit more of it in there to get more of a key lime Add a pinch of the sunburst yellow if you wanted just a tiny bit more yellow, and then add the interference gold in there. But boy, you can really see it. It's beautiful. Those colors are gorgeous. Okay, so for color saturation, let's put so we can really see the color balances here. We're going to put the one with the green interference on the other side of the Irish mist, so you've got pastels on each side, right? And again, I can take this a lot of shades darker. If I really wanted to go darker, I could have added Majestic and a pinch of Mystic. I know the Mystic has some green in it, so it's going to lend themselves to that, but I tried a pure blue first. But Mystic is a slightly darker saturation, so. And here is my emerald green. Now, on paper I'm getting an emerald. I'm not sure how much the camera is going to pick up the emerald. Because that blue kind of took out some of the. Boy, the camera is really making it still look a very yellow green. And in person, this is much more of an emerald. And this is much more of that in-your-face Irish green. This is very subtle, the one with the interference green base. I love how delicate that looks. This is going to dry really pretty. And of course, the one with the gold, it's already starting to dry. It's just gorgeous here on the top. So you've seen me use the Majestic blue in all kinds of other combinations. Here's going to be just the straight Majestic blue. Here's half Majestic blue. And we're going to go with Snapdragon again. I could have added Olivine to this. I could get emerald green to this. I mean the the Irish mist to this, and then you'd really, really get an emerald. But I love the ideas that you can get a blue violet. I want you to see that there's so many options out there. I mean, this is 12-piece. Between video 1 and video 2, we're probably showing you how to maybe mix 48 to 50 colors. But there's so many more possibilities beyond what I have time, not that I don't have the time, but what you have time to watch me show you on camera. Now, we're going to mix some in some interference green. Make sure that's the green. And we're going to mix some in some interference violet. And just to remember, it was really strong on that other color, so we're going to start with just a pinch in each one. Not a double pinch, just a single pinch. I can always add more. I know I keep saying that, but boy, I can always add more, but you can't take it away. And it's so true with anything that you're doing. So this is just a really nice, clean, medium blue. Yeah, I know it's pretty saturated, but this is the full value of the blue, this blue color that we've got. You want to give it some time to mix up so those little color grains dissolve. This is the one with the Snapdragon in blue, and I tried to make sure it was almost equal amounts. Yeah, I'm getting a tanzanite on this. I'm starting to see a blue violet, which is really what I wanted. I'm hoping the paper shows it, even if this camera really isn't showing it very much. Side by side, this looks more blue, this looks more violet. At least I can see it. And then two colors we went with green and violet, just to shake things up. Interference blue would be the obvious choice for a blue color, so I figured you guys would probably experiment with that all on your own. Boy, you can see that little bit of green on my glove. That's crazy how that's the Irish mist on my glove that's dry. Sorry, because that's kind of distracting now. Here it is in the interference green base. Boy, it's real subtle. I have to see it on the paper to see the green. That's a pretty pastel. And this is in the violet. Yeah, now see side by side, it's real. These are more obvious. This looks more aqua. This looks more tanzanite. This looks more aqua, and this looks more tanzanite. See the violet in there? Okay, so let's play with the straight Majestic blue. This has the interference violet in it. Just want you guys to have every option in the world and sit and experiment with these. And in these sets that we're rolling out, I worked for hours yesterday trying to create little recipe card sections that I can put in a flyer and give you actually some mixing instructions on this little insert we're going to send with this kit. And it's going to be in a flyer, but I will have it glossy coated, so if you want to cut it out or put it on your wall or post it on your wall, it's something you can save and post it on your wall. Now this is our custom mix, our blue violet with the Snapdragon. You can definitely see how it's deep in this shade of blue. See, this still looks like a lagoon water ocean blue with almost a teal, even though it's not. It's just a pretty, pretty blue. But as soon as I introduce the Snapdragon to it, you can start to see that blue violet. So this final color is Guatemalan Green. We had a green teal and a blue teal. This is technically our green teal. And I was really on the fence as to what to mix with this as far as the colors. I'm going to actually put Majestic blue in here. I'm going to put equal portions of Majestic blue, Guatemalan green. Let me get my pinches in here. Little pinch in this cup. This is a medium saturation, so you'll notice that pinch was a little bit heavier. And we're going to do a gold treatment. And the more obvious one, green. This should make something close to our African sky. You guys see me do a lot of videos with this color, Guatemalan green. It's beautiful with Snapdragon and Jasmine. It's one of my favorites. Again, the Mystic Blue is considered a blue teal, even though we added something to make it more blue. But this is your green teal, okay? This is the Majestic Blue. Say I wanted to turn this more into an actual turquoise, which it just did. It turned a really pretty turquoise. Much different in the cup than this. Now, when I mix it with the gold, I should get a celery color, like a celadon. I don't know if it's exactly a celadon, but it sure is pretty. A little bit more Guatemalan green might give me more celadon, but I actually like this color. I think it's gorgeous. And this is made with the green on green. So we'll see what kind of variation we get when we mix these two and show them side by side. So you can see this is the one with the gold in it. Kind of giving me a celadon green color. And this, oops. Hard to do it with one hand. And this was the with one hand in each one, like a cup in each one, and show you the difference side by side. But it's fun. This is the one with the interference green, and this is the one with the interference gold. A pinch of the Majestic blue. Gosh, that turned it blue, and it's really not. It's really a nice aqua, but the camera doesn't think so. So this is the straight Guatemalan Green going down first. Those of you who've played with it really know that this is really a pretty, pretty green turquoise. This is my one mixed with the Majestic blue that's giving me more of like a lake blue aqua. Just a pinch of Majestic blue, and I get a really pretty aqua. This is the pastel made with the interference gold. It's kind of interesting, but I think it's going to give me, yeah, you can see that gold in there as I lift that up. And this is the one that would be the most obvious one. If it's a green, mix it in an interference green. It's already in a green base. It's going to sparkle real pretty green. But it is going to be the same value as this. Remember, they're the same value. I mix the same amount of color with interference. It's how the interference changes the way you see the color once this dries. See the green in here. I can see that beautiful lagoon like blue. I can see how the gold warms it up. And there's the original sparkle of that Guatemalan green. This is Artist Loft White mixed with water and a little, actually this one has a little GAC 800 in it. And I have a little black just in case I want to just put a few drops of black in there around some darker colors so it gives me some contrast. But the swipe is going to be white, okay? I'm going to swipe this direction. So my first instinct is to put the darker, brighter colors on the top, or at least grab one of them. I have no idea. Oh, this looks like straight Snapdragon. Our purple. Woohoo! And I think next to it, I'm going to grab, I don't know what color this is, but this looks like one of the blues that's got a little tanzanite in it. Tanzanite-y look to it. I probably added some Snapdragon to it. Some of this mystic blue needs to be right here. The only thing, we are all blues, greens, purples, and all blues, greens, and purples. So we'll see how this holds up. That's why I'm thinking about maybe putting a drop or two of black next to some of all these pastels. Because we have plenty of pastel colors in here. I think this time I'm going to put my pattern both ways, not just left and right, but also a little bit up and down. What I got to tell you, it's pretty freeing when I just have these colors to choose and, you know, there's just kind of no way around it. You just kind of have to use what's here. So here's the first using one of those greens. Last time I was kind of in a hurry. This time I'm kind of, as I'm doing it, try to make sure I don't have a lot of holes I have to fill in as I'm going. It's so funny. Each one of these has about a spoon in it. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get for just a spoonful of color makes the swipe go down. I know you guys don't want me to say it. As soon as I said just a spoonful, it reminded me of a spoonful of sugar, the song. It's just very intuitive, no rhyme or reason. Again, lots of pastels in here. That's what worries me about doing the white. That's why I feel like wherever I have these little holes at the end, I might be dribbling a little bit of black. If I was going to do a swipe with all these pastels, I might grab something like a dark rich cobalt or our Payne's gray color. Well, here's that pretty olive. I'm going to make sure that's right here in the top where that white is coming down. That's that deep olivine. And for those of you that did not see video 1, I did the swipe of the warmer colors, went and had lunch with a friend. 6 hours later, I come back. By the way, the lunch wasn't 6 hours, but I was gone for a while. I come back and it was almost dry. My swipe was dry in 12 hours or less, and I've already varnished it. I really wanted to varnish it and resin it right away for you guys the next day, but I've been busy getting those recipe cards laid out for the literature, making sure all the materials are ordering in bounds so we can build the sets. All that other stuff that comes with making sure the company works. So I apologize it took me till Easter morning to do this, but I wanted to make sure everything else was prepped for you guys before I took the time to sit down and the joy of making a video for you guys. Well, that might work. I can do that. I can lay down these pastels and then dribble these darker colors over the top if I really want to. Let's get, this is a beautiful pastel aqua. God, I'm loving that color. But we won't know until we swipe and take a look with the camera and the light which ones have the gold, the green, the violet. Hopefully that's as noticeable as it was in that last video we did. Well, this is that crazy green gold. That's an olivine made with that gold. I'm going to drizzle some in here so hopefully we pick it up when we swipe. This is definitely an exercise. You see this many colors. I like this color. This is a pretty celadon green. It looks like it's got the gold base. This looks like that celadon I made with the Irish Mist. A little bit of the green in the Irish Mist. This is a super pretty color. I'm digging that. I want every drop of this one to come out. Super pretty. think because I'm going to go over the white, I'm going to focus on getting these pastels down because I've got some of the Snapdragon and blue colors I can put over the top. For contrast. We're getting down there. This is that crazy emerald green. I told you we got an emerald green. Oh man, that's pretty. That's a pretty color. I'm digging that. Okay, well we may have too much mixed up. We'll see in a second because there's a... Last time I really had to spread it dry, but I mixed up 7 colors this time and the part 1 was only 5 colors. Now this is looking a little bit thin here. I can see the canvas, so I'm going to readdress where I laid down that purple so thin. I was spreading it out with a spoon. A little home for that. Same thing here. Here's where some of my Mystic Blue got a little bit thin, so I'm going to dribble some of that blue violet in there. And this is more of a derivative of that deep Majestic. I saved these couple dark colors to the last so they could go over that light turquoise. Make sure I get all my edges covered. Oh, I still have a pocket up here where I can see canvas. Darn. I kind of like what this looks like before I'm swiping, to be honest. So I'm going to look for any holes now, any holes I can find where it does not have adequate paint. Of course, I don't mind putting Guatemalan Green on anything. That's what this color is. It's stunning. This is definitely turquoise, green, and purple. And then a little bit more of the green because this is so strong. I'm kind of going to put it just in a specific pockets, kind of go along the lines where I already have that olive. So this doesn't get too busy. Okay, so my favorite swiping tool now is Yupo paper. It's really good for flexibility for swiping. It also wipes down clean. I've got some bigger sheets that, I take to the sink and wash as soon as I'm done, but it's really handy for this kind of process. Okay, I was considering some black, but I think I got my colors around enough. I don't think I'm going to need to add any black for contrast because I think the dark green, the Mystic Blue, and the Snapdragon has done it for us. I'm just making sure that everything's tapped down and I see smooth glossy paint. Okay, so I've had some issues with Artist Loft and yet I've liked it as a swipe. So we're going to go with it. This is a little bit juicy, a little bit wetter than I like. So first I'm going to make sure just the very edge is wet. So this whole side of this canvas here gets coated with that white first. We know it's there. Yeah, it is pretty thin. Gosh, I hope this works, guys. Okay, so here's my artist loft going down for my swipe. Keeps wanting to run over the edge because I started it there. I'm getting my paper down into that first part of the piece, making sure it's making contact all the way down. Lay your paper almost flat. And pull the white across. Now that white really was, wow, not that white. I'm scooting my swipe paper up against the end of my canvas here and up at the end of my canvas here, so what paint that's on the edges can color my three sides. Well, it looks like it actually made it all the way across, which is crazy. Because it really didn't look like I had enough white in there. Well, wow, I'm getting some crazy Kelly green here. I'm wondering, should I swipe it again with the white? I don't know. I like the consistency of my black. It's not as watery. I've had problems with my Artist Loft white lately, but not my black. So I'm going to get that paper one more time in the black completely so it's making full contact. Okay, now that's flippin' nuts. Look at that. That's crazy. Wow. That was definitely the right choice. And I almost like the white going over the top because it's got like the little antique white in there before I added the black. I wonder if that's something I can do on purpose, right? Do a white and then a black swipe. Look at that! Oh my God, look how crazy that is. I'm sorry I'm getting so excited, but look at that. Oh my goodness. Unexpected. Okay, now, I don't know if I want to change this. There's a little section here of black that looks like it didn't come all the way down. And yet I'm liking that white corner over there. I don't want to mess with it. Wow, look at this abalone Shelly look we're getting up here in that black. Look how that purple and green is popping through. This is beautiful! Sorry, I'm so excited I can't stand it. This is beautiful. This is a great way to end that video. And you know what? I don't think it would have looked like this if I had just done black. I had to do a white, then a black swipe to make this work. And I am loving it. That's got to be one of the prettiest swipes I've ever done, and they're all like that one side of the color wheel, all the blues and purples and greens. Okay. Now this is amazing. Oh my God, I've got to say, one of the prettiest swipes I've ever done. You know what it is when you get really excited and you just can't stand it. I mean, look at this section over here where we have all those beautiful aquas, and the purple almost has that abalone shell look. And then where I was getting that bright Irish green by layering the black over the top, you've got the olive with the gold. You can see the Kelly green color, but it's beautiful right next to that Snapdragon. You can see all those beautiful blues. I'm loving that center. I wish I could intentionally get that look for an underwater look for a resin painting. I am definitely resining over this. Wow. I know I'm moving and on too much. I can't help it. Anyway, I hope this has inspired you. I hope you will consider the primer element, and that comes with that 8-ounce PolyPour. You get 12 jars of the primer elements, the 8-ounce bottle of the PolyPour. You'll get 25 of these scoops, and the recipe cards that I'm working. It's a recipe insert at this point. It'll be a fold over, but if there's enough interest in it, I may keep continuing with that and give you guys recipe cards on how to mix our entire line. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a terrific day. Bye!